Awakening Albion. Dear Ascending Family, in the ancient days, the oldest name for England was Albion. The names for Scotland in the Celtic languages were also related to Albion: Alba in Scottish, Gaelic, Alba in Irish, and Alban in Welsh, Cornish, and Breton. These names were later anglicized to Albany, which was once an alternative name for Scotland. Many myths and legends have long existed that giants were either the original inhabitants of the United Kingdom or were the founders of the land named Albion. The mystical significance of Albion has been memorialized through poems, stories, and mythos. Together they suggest the nature of Albion is related to the collective human consciousness and the world soul, to which we are all intimately connected. The Albion is the androgynous human template created from the 12 spheres of the Tree of Life, which, during the fall of humankind, became buried in the lower dimensional fields of the earth, waiting to be awakened. This elemental structure of the primordial human template is located in the earth body and is made from the original cosmic blueprint. This original blueprint records the divine plan for humanity's ascension to the silicate matrix and holds the celestial records of humankind's evolution throughout the solar system. The awakening Albion occurs in progressive stages, and recent Sirius and Canopus star transmissions are intelligently designed to stimulate the higher mind activation throughout the Albion body in the earth. This gently accelerates the shift in the mental body of the earth to reflect the higher mind consciousness, which is reflected in the stages of awakening Albion. Canis Major is a constellation in the southern celestial hemisphere that contains Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, known as the Dog Star. Recent transmissions activated the planetary body to communicate with the intelligent living matrix of the Canis Major and Carina constellations. This unites ancient geometries between the Sirius star system and Canopus to open gateways into the Paradisian suns, which is the architecture of the Golden Fleece and Golden Cities. The Sirius star system acts as a transmission agent of the cosmic logos into the planetary body to awaken human consciousness in stages throughout the evolutionary timeline. Sirius does this through the methodical process of awakening Albion, which holds within itself the cosmic logos record. The states of evolution are related to the universal laws of alchemy, which are transmitted from the Galactic Zodiac constellations. These transmissions move through the Sun to Earth as we move through the annual ecliptic. The stages in the Galactic Zodiac represent moving human consciousness evolution through the process of spiritual ascension, the process of humanity undergoing the spiritualization of the matter world. As we expand consciousness, we are connected to the Albion body, which acts as the consciousness representative of the entire human species. As we awaken to our spiritual nature and oneness, we are contributing to the collective awakening of Albion. The Krystic avatars come to the earth through the Sirius B portal and Sirians were some of the original engineers of many of the planetary grid networks, stone megaliths, dolmens, and many other geomantic structures on the Earth. Many of these geomantic structures exist in the parallel Earth, or in the higher realms of the future Earth, such as seventh dimensional Gaia. We are in the process of descending many of these higher timeline geometries and instruction sets into the lower Earth plane during this time. This is to activate previously dormant or inactive geomantic structures to be able to run and exchange living life current. These are called Chalice formations in the planetary grid. Chalice formations bring support to the Earth and the local inhabitants, who can be replenished with this quality of life force. The Templar. The planetary grid network is a living consciousness matrix that is encoded with the blueprint or original instruction set for the divine plan of humanity's spiritual evolution. Much of our mission as starseeds is to extract the alien machinery and fallen entities which obstruct, siphon, or damage energies in the planetary grid system. Deeply hidden in the organic matrix of our planet is the mirror image of the cosmic projection of our galaxy of stars, which is the multi-dimensional hologram of the cosmos. When we are describing planetary grid work, we are describing the consciousness body, holographic geography, which is representing the map of the galaxy on Earth. When we consciously understand this interplay, we can help support consciousness evolution by dedicating ourselves as conduits to express the divine plan for planet Earth. We currently refer to this level of participation or conduit as grid worker. Over the ages, the spiritual science of grid working has also been referred to as the Templar. Templar defines a person who comprehends planetary architecture and the math behind the geometries of Earth consciousness in the geomantic structures. Templars can sense how the spiritual energy current moves in the Earth and how to create or work with the geomantic structures to direct that energy. Retrieving shattered mirrors. Canis Major is the guardian of the Galactic Zodiac, which functions as the bringer of the souls through these constellation forces and archetypes. These forces propel humans to traverse through the underworld realms in order to reach their final destination as a Krystic being. The human consciousness currently existing on the lower third-dimensional Earth timeline represents the fallen consciousness of collective humanity as the world soul. The fallen consciousness of every human being on the Earth is what feeds into and manifests as the Luciferian body and its realm of forces. The Luciferian collective consciousness was once the light bearer and became distorted as he became trapped in the earth matter and bound to time. Hence, the Luciferian light became dead light, trapped in matter, and digressed into the false father principle. Dead light is dead energy and is a static field, like frozen shards of broken glass. From this dead light, the negative forms and the imposter spirits were generated in matter over time. In these broken shards of glass, the human soul became stuck or imprisoned in its shattered mirror image. The continuation of propagating dead energy in the shattered mirror generated more of the same throughout creation, such as miasma, disease, shadow selves, and demonic hierarchies. As the dead light of the bi-wave polarity spawned massive amounts of accumulated miasma, this toxicity took over the fields of matter on Earth. As repeated reincarnation was forced in the last precession cycle, the fallen consciousness of humanity fell into a deep sleep. As the world soul of the Albion body fell asleep into the lower realms of unconsciousness, it digressed into existence within the bottomless realms of the underworld in the phantom realities. As most humans are asleep in matter, the collective world soul and its collective manifestation body descended into the pit. As many off-planet extra-dimensionals recognized what was happening to humanity, they took technological advantage to accelerate the digression and enslavement of sleeping humanity. Many of the negative alien agenda use technology to keep humans asleep and amnesiac, which keeps the Albion asleep. Many of the guardians of the earth watched these events with great sadness. However, all knew the time of liberation would come. The ascension timeline is when the cosmic awakening would be stimulated, and many of us that were from the original planetary architects and engineers from Sirius would return to the Earth again to help free her. Most all of the Blu-rays and Indigos came to Earth through the Sirius portals. Additionally, what would be the paramount planetary grid project would be to locate all of the fractured pieces of humanity's collective body that is recorded in the universal tree of life that makes up the entire Albion body in the earth. We would need to find the soul fragments, the broken mirror images, and reintegrate them back into the universal tree of life, where the Mother's Holy Spirit would be able to breathe living life back into them. From the Atlantean cataclysms, the wars and explosions caused great fracture in the world soul and Albion, and thus soul fragmentation of collective humanity. The universal tree of life would be the core manifestation body of all multidimensional layers of creation through which all spiritual pieces in matter could be found, magnetically attracted and integrated back into wholeness. The process of reintegrating the world soul of the collective body of humanity is represented in one body that makes up the perfect template of the original divine design of the human tree of life. The blueprint for the world soul in its original perfect human body represented in the human 12-tree grid as the first divine human ever created in a silicate matrix is called the Albion. The cosmic heart of the Albion body, contained in the heart complex of every human being on the earth, is emerald. Emerald is the connection to the universal Holy Father. The universal stage has been set to reintroduce the cosmic monad of Father, to transmit these emerald frequencies into the earth. This is a planetary transmission of the cosmic emerald heart from the Father of God, which is designed to help more pieces of the sleeping Albion body to awaken. The Albion body was the umbilical cord of the original humans on Gaia that connected them directly to the cosmos. The original humans on 7th dimensional Gaia were our monadic bodies of the Hyperboreans. Thus, the Albion body structure buried in the 3rd dimensional Earth is from the timelines of Hyperborea. Hyperborean Albion. The Hyperboreans are the root races from the 7th dimensional Earth known as Gaia. Hyperboreans are important because this was the timeline of the original trauma of the fall that happened to the human race. This is where the split in time occurred, and this is when the moon was brought to the planet as its companion satellite to manage the gravitational field. The Hyperborean period on Gaia was humanity's golden age. This level of monadic identity was fully connected and fully embodied in Christ consciousness. When the electric wars happened to the Hyperboreans, they were split apart from their higher spiritual counterparts in Polaris. On the 7th dimensional Gaian body, which is the monad body of planet Earth, the Hyperboreans existed as a consciousness. Currently, that consciousness has an access point in the timelines in the northern part of our planet in the United Kingdom. With the latest transmission of galactic law, the planet is intersecting with the Hyperborean timelines in the 7th dimension, which are the original histories of humanity's fall from the Edenic state. The current aeonic pairs, or herogamic unions, are being taken out of the dimensional door of the trans-time continuum to experience the infinite space of God worlds in order to bring back that specific timeline memory to this density of Earth. The Albion body contains the collective memory record of the human experience in the 7th dimensional timelines on Gaia. The divine plan is to find and locate the pieces of the Albion body, which awaken the world's soul through the Galactic Zodiac and star transmissions. Ultimately, this integrates all the broken mirrors into the Albion body, which then can unite with the Cathar body of Mother. This is the alchemical wedding of the masculine and feminine principle, which is the marriage of spirit and matter on the earth in this ascending timeline. As we expand our consciousness, our spiritual mission is to facilitate the preparations for this sacred union of the Albion and Cathar bodies, as we bring our witness to the ceremony that takes place during the alchemical wedding. The alchemical wedding is also called Hieros Gamos, or Hierogamy. The Albion body has energy chakras and consciousness centers that make up entire sections of his body, which represent principles recorded in the earth to expand solar consciousness and beyond. When the Albion body is asleep, it exists in states of unconsciousness and generates darkness, understood as the deadlight of the Luciferian consciousness. To awaken Albion is also to rehabilitate the unconsciousness of the Luciferian forces, the fallen angelics on earth, to the self-realized higher consciousness of the Krystic self in the Diamond Sun DNA that recognizes it is one with all things. Albion code and Cathar code. The Albion is in the planetary body as a sphere, and it is the exact replica of an original 12-strand DNA human, the first expression of a human being that is recorded within the planetary body. The Albion is comprised of the architecture of the universal law of structure that manifests as the divine human body in the universal tree of life. The Albion is within the core manifestation template of the human body, and the actual shape of that body is referred to as the Albion. The Albion is masculine in its principle, although it is genderless. It is a manifestation of the law of structure governed by the cosmic logos. The Albion exists as a cell in the body of the solar logos. Each of us exists as a cell in the planetary body. The planetary body is made in the image of the Albion, as it is connected to the 12-strand DNA silicate matrix body. Each of the 12 spheres in the tree of life represents a part of the consciousness of the auric egg that makes up the light body. The auric egg contains color waves within the spheres, and these are known as the cathar, which is the feminine principle. The Albion and the cathar represent the Holy Father and Holy Mother principle united as the Hieroskamos, or the risen Christos Sophia, made manifest through the corrected Albion. The cathar is the mother principle of sound, tone, music, and colors that fill in the Albion spherical architecture. The cathar is the Holy Mother's body, which is the color tonal wave spectrum, and the living life code of the breathing Holy Spirit. The cathar is Mother's creation code. The Albion is Father's creation code, and both have to interact and interconnect in sacred marriage to birth the Christos Sophia. As they unite in herogamic union, Mother's sound tones and Holy Spirit can bring color waves into the base template of the Albion architecture. This sacred union generates new, balanced creations throughout the matter worlds as matter becomes spiritualized through the animating force of the Holy Spirit. Dragon lines. When stellar transmissions occur, such as the recent connection made between Canis Major, Sirius, and the Carina or Argo Navis constellations, the flow of cosmic energy can be directed to previously dormant sites. The Earth grid is filled with energetic impressions from ancient spiral vortex systems that were imprinted in the Earth eons ago. When these ancient spiral vortices are activated, they act as massive sound resonators that play celestial music in the ethers that elevate human consciousness. This recent transmission relates to what is known as dragon lines, which are the main 12 lines which transmit qualities of the galactic zodiac and DNA code into the planet. As we prepare to move into the galactic laws of the Taurus constellation, the Earth element is re-encrypting patterns as it unites with the solar transmissions made during the electrical peak period in May. Since May 1st, the Taurus dragon line that enters into the Avebury area is being angled in new degrees to the Aldebaran star and constellation of Taurus. The angles reflect Krystic mathematical architecture, shifting how the Taurus dragon line runs solar frequencies through the local ley lines. The St. Michael lines diagonally cross through Avebury, moving in both southwesterly and northeasterly directions, and appear to have grid point connections designed to stimulate the Albion body parts to awaken. Each of the dragon lines are woven into primarily 12 main sections comprising the world grid. Over the last year, more dragon lines were created to reflect the changing zodiac patterns interacting with the Earth grid during Ophiuchus. However, each of the 12 main sections holds an image of the Albion reflection into its entire holographic mirror, as each image is like a face or facet, which is directed by a different astrological influence from the zodiac wheel. Each of the 12 spheres is an aspect that interfaces with the human 12-tree grid of life and connects into the energetic center of the planet and into the center of seventh-dimensional Gaia's grid system. The Albion body was originally designed to hold the higher self-mind of Sirius for the Earth, which also holds the consciousness records of the cosmic sovereign law of one. The Sirius star system acts in its universal principle as the higher mind functioning for the Earth body. This star system is the entry point for the lodge of the families of the Law of One, who are the record keepers of the crystal genetics and ambassadors that administer to the laws of creation. The connection point to the Albion body in the United Kingdom is exactly in the center of the island, which allows access to the center of the seventh-dimensional Gaian grid system and its umbilicus into the cosmic time cycle. The east-west axis of Aldebaran, Taurus, and Antares, which is Scorpio, function as a pair and form the demarcation points of east and west positions in the Galactic Zodiac wheel. Aldebaran and Antares are the east-west alignments of the four royal stars that open the universal gates into the cosmic time cycle. Those east-west circuits can be accessed through dragon lines in the center of the United Kingdom, which connects into seventh-dimensional Gaia. Aldebaran also connects into the consciousness archetypes of Saint Michael as the defender of the Christ Logos and the history recorded on the Saint Michael lines in the United Kingdom. The Taurus Dragon Line transmission from mid-May to mid-June relates to the impact of Aldebaran and the collective Michael consciousness upon the Earth. Albion and King Arthur. Additionally, the origins of Albion are interwoven with the storyline of King Arthur. The essence of Albion and of Arthur, the future messianic king, are still deeply felt and represented in myriad of ways throughout the culture of the United Kingdom. Tintagel in Cornwall is King Arthur's reputed birthplace, and Glastonbury is where his body was discovered in medieval times. One recurring theme in Arthurian literature is that he would one day return in the role of a messiah to save his people, thus bringing peace, abundance, and well-being to the lands. The same force represented as Christ consciousness returning to the earth. Exploring these ancient mythologies can be important in the revelation of consciousness that is recorded in the landmass and holds universal and eternal truths about humanity's spiritual awakening. Our consciousness may return to resolve or complete these archetypes, as they are deeply embedded in the human psyche that connects with consciousness aspects of the earth. The Round Table is King Arthur's famed table, around which he and his knights congregate. As its name suggests, it has no head, implying that everyone who sits there has equal status. The symbolism of the Round Table developed over time to represent the code of conduct and virtues associated with Arthur's court and the Knights of the Round Table. Esoterically, the Round Table means to run diamond sun rainbow current into the earth grid. The Templars knew that to protect the earth and her inhabitants, the knights would defend the earth from invaders by running rainbow round tables. To protect the earth, the Knights Templar would go to planetary stargates, communicate with the Krystic forces, and run the round table. This refers to 3 to 12 Templars gathering in the Stargate to run Rainbow Current and protect it from intrusion. King Arthur represents the solar angelic or Krystic consciousness aspect that can be connected to through this archetype on the earth. The birthplace of Arthur represents the birth of the Golden Child, where the solar angelic presence can be communed with by the sensitive seeker. That solar presence can be intentionally directed to animate and energize the awakening of the Albion body. NRG suppresses Albion awakening. The Nephilim reversal grid is an alien machinery in the United Kingdom that is covering the Albion architecture and is using the Albion body. The Albion ultimately generates forces of the Diamond Sun DNA consciousness, but the spheres and the Cathar code are disconnected. The Albion code and Cathar code must be reconnected, repaired, and recircuited to exchange energy together and build the DNA strands. The main circuits for connecting the Cathar and the Albion bodies are the United Kingdom and France. The NRG headquarter hub in the Stonehenge area acts as a final collection point by directing huge amounts of electromagnetic power through massive amounts of collected or stolen life force from all over the planetary grid lines. The Nephilim reversal grid function is to break apart hybrid genetics by reversing any synthesis of alchemy that happens organically between the male and female principle through electron and proton balance. As a result, it repels any healing for the DNA of reverse pair bonds that are based in the reptilian genetics. This is desired by the reptilians because their human representatives that are hybridized, Nephilim, genetic hybrids between Oraphim and reptilian, are easy to possess and mind control for their negative alien agenda. The Nephilim reversal grid alien architecture is harvesting the energy of the Albion source in order to suppress humanity's consciousness and to stunt the progress of DNA assembly. We have discovered that this alien machinery is responsible for the suppression of the Albion body. The Albion is to be awakened in the earth, and this has forced many mission upgrades since early 2001. The Nephilim reversal grid forces electron structures to distort the spinning ratio through smashing the protons. We can see a clear agenda of smashing protons to create black holes, such as the billion-dollar CERN project. These technologies are designed to stop the neutron and neutrinos from being generated and to split apart the electron-proton balance. When we work with the planetary field, it is possible to run circuits and geometries that deflect a wide array of disturbances in the field. Prayer groups for these areas on the Earth can be effective to neutralize black hole damage and run rainbow current rounds to support the grids. As we get more advanced in our relationship to protect the Earth, we may use the main building blocks of geometry in the grid, the Platonic solids, to strengthen the grid patterns into energetic balance. As an example, one can simply work with one or more elements, which will contact the elemental spirits. For example, through the geometry of water, you may intend to manifest clear, clean, and pure water for the earth through prayers to the elemental spirits while sending many icosahedron shapes to the oceans, ponds, or rivers. Platonic solids. The mystery school of Pythagoras, Plato, and the ancient Greeks taught that these 5 solids are the core patterns behind physical creation. However, this was ancient knowledge, known since the beginning of time. 4 of the Platonic solids are the archetypal patterns behind the 4 elements in all creation: earth, fire, air, and water. The 5th pattern was considered to be a universal substance of creation, and in some mystery schools was considered the 5th element of ether. The 5th solid is the dodecahedron, and its usage in the material world was closely guarded, as it was felt to be dangerous if it was misused. We are acutely aware of the negative alien agenda, and many secret societies and Illuminati lines have misused these as forms that are the basis of reversal 10 structures that have been placed on the earth as mind control matrices. These are called reversal 55 grids and appear as many of the dodecahedron shapes, as many are interconnected with the reversal matrix used by service-to-self entities. Hence, in our model, we consider the dodecahedron as the elemental matrix or substance used to form time and space. The matrix can be programmed into a variety of angular proportions and light refractions that can bend time and space inorganically. Through Heroskamos, the upgrade is the Star of Azoth from Crystal Star, the 7 sacred suns, which hold the cosmic ether component. This 5th element upgrade to a 6th element supports our connection and communication, which is fully governed by cosmic sovereign law and the crystal star host. The cosmic ether, or Mother's quintessence, manifests itself into any geometrical wave pattern and breathes life into form. She creates offspring as multiple fractal patterns of spirals that are creations birthed into form and matter. Platonic solids arrange themselves in fractal patterns that weave a morphogenetic field into a blueprint that manifests a matrix in space, which interconnects atoms with the stars in their celestial patterns. Although the scale of the Platonic solid shapes are different, the ratios between them are the same, using the same geometries and following the same holographic patterning. This is following the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. These celestial patterns are in the annual movement of our sun on an elliptical path through the constellations, moving over many thousands of years in evolutionary cycles called the precession of the equinoxes. The universe moves and evolves through spirals. All opposing polarities resolve by spiraling into balance. Balance between polarities is made visible in the spiral movement. The movement of spiraling energy has the center core, which is called the eye. In the eye of the spiral is the absolute zero, neutral, or calm center. This core center in the spiral of consciousness exists in all living things. The 5 Platonic solids are the building blocks of sacred geometry in consciousness, which share the same characteristics. All faces are the same size. All edges are the same length. Only one angle throughout the entire shape, and all points touch the edge of a sphere perfectly. The tetrahedron, the first Platonic solid, is a triangle with 4 sides and represents the element fire. It is related to the intersection paths of the planets Jupiter and Mars, and was first documented by Johannes Kepler. Hexahedron, the second Platonic solid, is a square with 6 faces and represents the element Earth. It is related to the intersection paths of the planets Saturn and Jupiter, and was first documented by Johannes Kepler. Octahedron, the third Platonic solid, is a triangle with 8 faces and represents the element air. It is related to the intersection paths of the planets Mars and Earth and was first documented by Johannes Kepler. Dodecahedron, the fourth Platonic solid, is a 5-sided pentagon with 12 faces and represents the element of time and space, the substance that builds matrices. It is related to the intersection paths of the planets Earth and Venus and was first documented by Johannes Kepler. Icosahedron, the fifth Platonic solid, is a triangle with 20 faces and represents the element of water. It is related to the intersection paths of the planets Venus and Mercury and was first documented by Johannes Kepler. The unified field grid. The Platonic solids are geometrically formed composites which are arranged in various groupings to form coding on the base structure of the grid. The grid is a general term used to explain the multiple layers of the morphogenetic field, which form the unified field of living substance, through which all things in the universe are interconnected. The grid represents the fabric in which layers of the crystalline blueprints are woven into manifestation to support form and consciousness. Grid energy is the very essence and fabric of the universe. The geometric forms are crystalline structures that form the multidimensional layers of both consciousness and matter forms. These act as the building blocks of frequency and sound tones, which are what the core manifestation template body is built upon. The geometric forms are what project and expand the consciousness form throughout time and space, as well as contract and return the consciousness body back to the center core. They set the geometric foundation for all matter, structures, and biology that experience perception of space and time throughout the cosmos. These base geometries set the shaping of electromagnetic fields, moving through multiple dimensions simultaneously, and direct how those fields will manifest and build matter forms. The Platonic solids form the crystal matrix of electromagnetic fields and consciousness that run through all things and interconnect all things in the universe. Sacred geometry. The base geometric forms of the Platonic solids are arranged into groupings, which form more complex instruction sets and geometric code. All forms of matter and consciousness energy are structured upon these basic groupings and sets of geometric coding. This determines the base atomic structure and genetic arrangement of a form, and the characteristics and personality that form will have. To work with sacred geometry is to reference the groupings of the geometric patterns held in the Platonic solids. To witness how these groupings form specific coding, which direct light and sound waves to form into multiple consciousness expressions in multiple dimensions simultaneously. These geometric codes hold together the primary core manifestation template of all individual forms. They also hold the primary structure that organizes the consciousness intelligence within all things in the universe. The attributes of manifestation in form can be altered or adjusted through rearranging these core geometric codes. Sacred geometry holds the instruction sets and the building blocks for the blueprints of all of creation, from the unmanifest to manifest worlds, and is the basis of all form and consciousness. Sacred geometry is the pattern of consciousness on every scale, from the quantum to the massive planetary and celestial bodies. every pattern of growth, change, or movement will conform to the mathematical precision of one or more geometric shapes. Sacred geometry is an ancient metaphysical science that explores the mathematical patterns that are inherent in creation and reveals the precise way that the universe organizes itself. Sacred geometry reveals the underlying connection between all things in the form of math, numbers, and geometry that proves the hidden order behind creation in divine infinite calculus. When we have a greater understanding that God is math, and sacred geometry is the language of the universe behind all form in creation, it creates a cosmology of unity rather than a perception of separation. The experience of sacred geometry through meditation or contemplation is essential in revealing the nature, purpose, and necessary education of the soul's spirit. Our unique soul pattern holds mathematical patterns and geometric forms, which dictate the pattern of our consciousness. When we study these structures of awareness, we gain deeper insight into these mathematical patterns and codes, which reveal the symbolic nature of our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to the universe, and to God. Everything has a pattern, which is the basis of a blueprint, and is the key to creating specific experiences and effects in our consciousness or perception. When we study the natural change and movement of the nature kingdoms, when we study the geometry inherent in nature, it will inform us greatly of how nature works. All forms are brought forth in the gender principle of creation, the mother principle and the father principle together. Through their mating, everything is created. Light symbol codes. Light symbol codes make up frequencies of light and sound and are composed of electromagnetic energy configurations. These configurations of light and sound energy are programmed into the core geometric patterns and direct the angle, speed, and rotation of the consciousness units and how they refract light and replicate themselves. Light symbol codes direct the way the consciousness energy will move in the form, and they organize the geometric program that is held together in the grouping of the geometric forms, such as the Platonic solids. When adjusting or altering light symbol codes, the core geometric pattern is altered, and this initiates changes to be made in the crystal body. Spiritual ascension or human evolution through the expanding consciousness can be accelerated and supported by activating light symbol codes that are inherently a part of the core geometric structure of the crystal body. Light symbol codes direct the pattern of frequency into the DNA, which activate dormant levels of DNA to come online and function at higher levels. The mind can be used to direct light symbol codes or the core geometries to direct frequencies into the body for healing, wellness, and a variety of consciousness enhancement purposes. Light symbol codes operate on an unconscious mind level and direct core patterns into the crystal body to alter base codes of matter. When using light symbol codes in grid work, they program and direct angles of light refraction in the geometric form, which alter the way the electromagnetic energy pulses and moves in the hologram. When using light symbol codes in one dimension, it simultaneously alters the sound field in the dimension above it. The core geometries of the Platonic solids must be programmed on the grid in the dimension above where they are being placed. This is accomplished by accessing the light field spectrum in one dimension in order to direct the sound frequencies and its field in the dimension above it. Fractals. A fractal is a repetitive geometric pattern that can be scaled to any size, from extremely small to extremely large. The scale may change, but the ratio remains constant. The same repetitive patterns that are found in the Platonic solids that fit within each other are fractals. That fractal pattern is what shapes the atom, the smallest unit of matter that defines the chemical elements. That same atomic structure behind the fractal pattern is what shapes our planets, stars, and the universe. The inner structure of a fractal is reflected identically in its outer structure, is the same geometric pattern repeated. A fractal means fraction, which indicates that it is a fraction of the all. Each piece is holding a reflection of the part of the whole. The fractals of the electromagnetic field energy interconnect with everything through multiple layers of morphogenetic fields. They repeat their fractal pattern in many dimensions within the universe and are the basic building blocks of the holographic universe. Ley lines. Ley lines are the meridian Axiatonal lines or grid system that conducts and transmits frequencies throughout our bodies and the planet. They are an exact mirror as they exist in our personal holographic template and are reflected from within the larger mirror of the planet's own meridian and template system. This is one way to describe our micro and macro system of nested holographic energy templates, or the 12-tree grid, that generate within an infinity spiral of ever-expanding, spinning fractals. Axiatonal lines create the macrosystem energy network in the light body, where all dimensional frequencies are transduced into the meridians, chakras, and etheric natal structure. Ley lines run the same energetic network into smaller tributaries in the microsystem. This is similar to understanding the difference between an arterial vein and a capillary vein functioning in the same human circulatory system. The same energy network of axiatonal lines that are present in the personal light body and the 12-tree grid is also interconnected to the larger planetary axiatonal lines. The larger planetary body has an energy network which is an exact replica of our personal energy network. This expands throughout the unified field of energetic layers that comprise the planetary, galactic, and universal consciousness energy systems. This combined network is the unified field of energy and consciousness that together make up the entire time and space field of multiple dimensions, as well as the individual form and consciousness that reside in the entire cosmic structure. As we discover more how our planet actually works, we are learning how to be guardians of the earth. We can help to support the expanding human consciousness to awaken Albion by connecting to these basic principles which govern the energies and geometries inherent in the mechanics of time and space. With a pure and loving heart, this knowledge must be respected and treated with great care by those who genuinely love and respect the earth. Please only take what is useful for your spiritual growth and discard all the rest. Thank you for your courage and bravery to be a truth seeker. Until next, in the luminosity of your avatar, Christos Sophia, heart path, please be kind to yourself and to each other. Thank you.